Irrational Games was a video game developer founded in 1997 by three former employees of Looking Glass Studios, Ken Levine, Jonathan Chey, and Robert Fermier as Irrational Games. On January 9, 2006, Take-Two Interactive announced that they had purchased Irrational, and would publish their games under the 2K Games label. At its largest point, Irrational had two studios, one in Quincy, Massachusetts, USA, just outside Boston, Massachusetts, and the other in Canberra, Australia. A third studio, 2K Marin, was split off from 2K Boston in 2007, with 5 former Irrational Games employees leaving to join the new company. 2K Marin worked with 2K Australia on BioShock 2. The Canberra studio separated from the Boston studio at some point after 2007, and merged with 2K Marin in 2010. In late July 2010, several media outlets reported that a recently created website, whatisakaras.com, was a promotion relating to Irrational Games' unannounced project. The following week, information about the game was again teased, with the trailer confirmed for release on August 12, 2010. It turned out to be BioShock Infinite. Ken Levine announced on February 18, 2014 that Irrational Games will be closing down, with 15 members of the staff to follow Levine to focus on digital download, narrative-driven games for Take-Two. Levine stated, "I am winding down Irrational Games as you know it. Unregistered trademark LLB, starting a smaller, more entrepreneurial endeavor at Take-Two." History. 1997, a Boston studio formed by former Looking Glass Studios employees Ken Levine, Jonathan Chey, and Robert Fermier. 1999, a System Shock 2 released to critical acclaim. 2000, a Irrational Canberra opens, with Jonathan Chey taking the helm. Deep Cover is cancelled. 2002, a legal issues with publisher Crave Entertainment result in the development of The Lost being halted. 2004, a Irrational designers Ed Orman and Dean Tate awarded Best Design in the Australian Game Developer Awards, as well as the studio receiving Best Game of 2004, and Best PC Game. 2005, a Irrational's Boston studio moves to larger office space in Quincy, Massachusetts. The studio retains the Irrational Games Boston title. 2006, a Irrational is acquired by Take-Two Interactive, under the 2K Games publishing arm. 2007, a Irrational Games is renamed to 2K Boston and 2K Australia on August 10. BioShock released August 21 to wide critical acclaim and strong sales. 2010-2K Boston announces its return to its original name, Irrational Games, on January 8. 2K Australia merges with 2K Marin and announces XCOM on April 14. Shortly after BioShock was released, rumors arose that many of the staff who had worked on the game were leaving 2K Boston Australia. In 2007, 5 members of the 2K Boston team moved to a new 2K Games studio in Novato, California. Soon after, 2K Games announced the formation of 2K Marin in Novato. Before Irrational started development on BioShock Infinite, the studio did preliminary work for the XCOM project that later became the Bureau, XCOM Declassified. Closing of the studio. On February 18, 2014, it was announced by Ken Levine via an open letter posted on the Irrational Games website that Irrational Games would be closing. All but 15 members of the Irrational Games staff would get laid off, with the team helping them to find new jobs within and outside of 2K Games, and the 2K was now in charge of the BioShock IP. A career day was hosted by Irrational Games for the remaining 75 employees to help seek employment at 57 other studios. Levine and the 15 remaining members of the team would be creating new, smaller games focusing on a replayable narrative for the core gamers. It was said that Levine's studio will continue to keep the Irrational name, although Take-Two later stated that it was not true. The studio's games will be released digitally with Take-Two/2K Games funding and publishing them. List of video games: cancelled video games, Deep Cover, Division 9, Monster Island, The Lost, Freedom Force 3, entitled BioShock Vital Game. References. External links: Irrational Games, 2K Boston, 2K Australia, Irrational Games profile on Moby Games.